Hi everybody. I hope that you had a wonderful 4 days of no school. I had 5 days and I had a wonderful time. It was relaxing. I had a nice meal on Thanksgiving with my husband and my son. And now it's almost December, tomorrow. Today is the last day of the month of November. I can't even believe it. Are you ready for December? In December, sometimes it snows. In December, we have 2 holidays. There's Hanukkah for our friends who are of the Jewish faith, and for those who are Christian, we celebrate Christmas. And then at the end, on December the 31st, we celebrate New Year's Eve. It's the ending of the year 2020 and the beginning of the year of 2021. I wonder what 2021 has in store for us. We sure didn't know what 2020 had in store for us, did we, grown-ups? So, as you can see, I have on my polar bear and my penguin shirt because the weather's getting a little chilly, although it's supposed to be in the 60s today, just to keep things interesting. Did anybody see the moon last night? It was a big, beautiful full moon, and somewhere in the morning time, early in the morning, there was an eclipse, a lunar eclipse. I wonder if you see any behaviors that's a little crazy. I know I was feeling a little blue yesterday. I'm wondering if that's why. I hope you all get to look out at the stars and the moon sometimes. It's a good way of learning that we are a planet Earth, but there are other planets out there. And sometimes if you look really carefully, you can see Venus, or you can see Saturn, or you can see Mars. I've noticed Mars in the sky, and it really does look red. It's just a little tiny dot. It just looks like a little star. So today, we're still on our 5 senses unit. What sense is this child using? He's using the sense of taste. We're still going to be doing the sense of hearing this week. I have some experiments that I'd like to do. So let's just review the ones that we've already done. I'm not reading this book exactly because it's kind of wordy, but I figured that we could just revisit some of the things that we know. So this story is called, it's not a story, it's a nonfiction book. It's called The Senses, and it's done by Bodyworks. The author is, let's see, it's not on the cover. The author is, there we go, Tracy Moorer. And it has a table of contents. It tells us each chapter and which page it's on. You are here. Touch, sight, sound, smell, and taste tell you about the world outside your body. These senses also tell you about your body's possession. Are you sitting on a chair or standing on your head? Check your 5 senses. Your senses send billions of signals to your brain every few seconds. Your brain deals with just a few signals at a time. If it took in all the signals at once, you would go crazy. The control center. That's the brain. Your brain is the control center for your senses. Signals travel to your brain along thin cords called nerves. Your brain gives meaning to signals that come in, and it also sends signals out to the body. If you step on a pin, your brain knows the signals from your foot mean pain, and it zaps a signal back to your foot telling it to pull away quickly. This is a reflex action. Your body moves on its own. Yeah, you don't have to think about when you touch a hot stove, ouch, you immediately pull your hand back. Unless there's something going on between your brain and the nerves aren't working so well. Some people might keep their hand on a hot stove because they're not feeling it in the same way as you or I. So you have to really know that your brain, even though your senses might look like they're working. Remember I talked about people whose eyes don't work so well. Sometimes it's a problem with the eye, but sometimes it's a problem with the brain. It's because the signals get confused. Same thing with hearing. We talked about hearing can happen, not being able to hear or being deaf can happen because there's something in the brain that's not reading the signals, not just something going on with the ear. So there's an area of your brain that helps you with thinking, with movement, with touch, with sight, that's seeing, hearing, smelling, and tasting. See all of these different areas? So your brain is inside your skull. And all of these different areas are covered in the different colors. Interesting. So if you got a bad boo-boo in one section, say over here in this front side portion, and that's the smelling section, guess what? You might not be able to smell. I'm going to go through to hearing. Okay, so I skipped some pages because this is the sense of the week. What are these children doing? All sounds come from sound waves. The number of waves combined with the size of the waves create each sound. We're going to be doing an experiment this week to show you what a sound wave is. Okay, so on Wednesday, I'm going to be doing it with everybody in the classroom over and over again. But for the kiddies at home, we're going to be doing it on Wednesday all together. We're going to practice our sound waves and how that works. You can feel the vibration. Sound wave is like a vibration. Remember we talked about feeling your voice? The vibration makes the sound. Your ears catch sound waves. The brain receives the signals and sorts them. You hear what is important to you. You hear what is important to you. A friend calling your name or a favorite song might get your attention, but other sounds become noise. Maybe that explains why sometimes my husband doesn't hear me. Maybe it's because it's not important to him to hear me nag about doing something. But if somebody puts on his favorite song, I watch his toes get tapping, or he sings along. Do you notice that? Mommies and daddies, you might notice that with your children. They might ignore you some of the time. Maybe it's not all ignoring. So here are some pictures. What do you think is going on in this picture? What senses are being used? They look quiet. So I don't think they're hearing much unless they're hearing the birds around them. Is this all about touch? A hug is a nice touch. Oh, isn't that a beautiful flower? What sense do you think they're using? The sense of smell. Do you remember? Here's our eyeball. The iris is the colored part. The black pupil lets the light in. This is the back part, the retina, and then the lens. And then the white part is the sclera. So that's just some information. We're not going to go over all of them, but do you remember your 5 senses? Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching. All right, guys. So this week, get ready to learn all about hearing. Think about the things that you love to hear. I wonder. All right. Comment down below and tell me what your favorite thing to hear is. In the summertime, one of my favorite things to hear is the sound of the ice cream truck coming. In winter, I love the sound of the crunch of snow under my boot after it's just fallen. In the springtime, I love the sound of the birds. And in the fall, I love the sound of the dry leaves in the wind. They make such a beautiful sound. Or the sound of the crunch of the leaves under my shoes. Think about some of your favorite sounds. Have a great day. Welcome back to school.